Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Christmas Tina. So I just took a really short break. Just took out my ice cream. And I haven't even eaten it. I'll probably eat it when I'm making this video. So I do apologize if you hear me chewing sometimes. I hope it doesn't. I do have the noise gate on. So it should block those type of noises. But alright, let's continue where we left off. About 2 weeks had passed. It was mid-January. Nothing of note happened in the meantime, other than how it got even colder. Hey, that's a really nice sky. We slowly began to get used to life together. The electricity, one of our biggest gripes, eventually came back online. We installed a curtain in front of the cramped bathroom to have a dressing area. We alternated using the washing machine, and we determined that the right side of the small fridge was mine, while the left side was theirs. We began to know how long the other would need outside too.
Ohayo, Jin! おはよう。
早。
We greeted each other in the morning. The younger sister was always bubbly, the older a little hesitant. Still, we'd now spent a month together, and we understood each other a little better.
洗濯機だけど、今日いいかな。
好的，我出去买一下东西啊。
だったら帰りにお弁当買ってきてくれる？
It looked and sounded like a conversation, but we didn't actually comprehend each other. We only understood the intent of what the other was saying. She gestured at the washing machine and I pointed at my watch. We imitated an eating gesture. They were all simple things, but it was enough for us to understand the gist of it. Other things changed too.
不对 ，Amy，
There you go.
呼んだ？
脸上沾了饭粒。
ご飯粒ついてた。
All I did was point at her cheek. It could barely be called a gesture, but it was enough. Exchanging simple information was becoming easy for us. And I also knew her real name now. Apparently, Tomodachi meant friends in Japanese. I also learned the name of the older one. Her name was Kana. Amy told me her name. I hesitated to call Kana by her name. She wasn't that much younger than I was. And unlike Emmy, our relationship was a little more frigid.
おはよう。今日も寒いわね。さくらさん。
Sakura had come to see us. She was only a few years older than me. She was kind of our boss.
今日はどうしたんですか？
Oh crap, is my internet dead? I was uploading the last video, actually. Well, on schedule, so I don't technically have to upload it today. This is the nice thing about YouTube, I guess. I used to have an issue with it only uploading. Like, it takes a very long time to upload something. But thankfully now it looks like it's okay.
間もなく給料日だからね。時給計算に来たのよ。はい。彼が作ってくれたのですけど。それがお手製のタイムカードね。はい。少し細かいですが。なるほど。どちらか外出しているときはこうしてチェックしてるのね。
She looked at the timesheet I'd made and jotted something down in a notebook. It was probably time to calculate our wage.
ねえお姉ちゃん、どうしたのエミ？私はバイト代もらえない？そりゃ無理って、ちょっと待ってよ。ここにいるだけのバイトなんだし、あの子も少しはもらってもいいよな。
She was mumbling about something.
こういうのってありでしょうか？
She pointed at me, herself, and her sister in turn. Then made a counting motion. Apparently she wanted the job we'd been splitting in two. Split in three for her sister.
这怎么行呢？
I mean, hell yeah, no way. I shook my head.
まあ、そりゃそうよね。ところで、猫を見たって聞いたけど、本当？
I mean, technically, if I was in Jing's shoes, that's crazy talk, right? If it was split in three ways, technically speaking, she would get 2/3 of the pay. That's sort of not fair.
あ、はい。まだエミしか会ってませんけど。そう。エミ、どんな猫だった？黒猫だよ。すぐ逃げちゃうけど。黒猫。もしかして知ってる猫ですか？いえ、気にしないで。黒猫なんてどこにでもいるし。
Apparently she didn't want to talk about it.
それよりジン。あのおっさんが呼んでたわよ。
She handed me a piece of paper. Sakura could write simple Chinese.
大叔，
Said the boss wanted to speak to me.
うちの社長よ。社長。
啊，我明白了，江先生。
ええ、ジャンよ。こうよ。じゃあ一緒に行きましょう。
Sorry about that. I followed Sakura away from the station building. I didn't want to deal with Zhang, but if he was calling for me, I couldn't refuse. That said, if he was going to drag me into something dangerous again, I intended to turn him down. I wanted to save up money, but getting arrested doing it would be idiotic. I agree. The city was full of people. Even around noon, the streets were bustling.
然后呢，江先生在哪？
キョロキョロしなくても、この辺にいればそのうちに来るわよ。
Am I supposed to press something? This feels awkward. Am I supposed to click?
ああ、ごめん。言ってもわからないよ
Oh,
ね。
yeah, I guess I was supposed to click. For some reason, it didn't show me the question mark, the triple question mark there, before I clicked. She wrote something into her notebook again and showed it to me. Wait is all it said. The thing she wrote had to be really simple. Chinese and Japanese had very different pronunciations, but the meaning of many characters was the same.
遅いわね。ちょっと飲みにでも行く？
I think Japanese is actually derived from Chinese kanji. Like, there's like 10,000, sorry, not Chinese kanji, Chinese hanchi, that's what we call them. But yeah, there's like 10,000 hanchi, while Japanese only use 2,000. She wrote, I, poor, want alcohol. With some generous interpretation, I was being asked out for a drink by a woman. A less generous interpretation had to be paying for it.
我真的没钱，日本物价太贵了。
わからんから、あんたも書いてよ。はい。
She handed me the pen and the notebook. She pointed it at the paper. She wanted me to write it down.
还没有发工资，所以现在没钱。你经常喝酒吗？
I handed her back the notebook. I tried to keep it short because I knew she wouldn't understand otherwise.
お酒が好きかって？ええ。趣味はカラオケとトレンディードラマを見るのと酒よ。
She took the notebook back and wrote, with large characters, love alcohol. I could make out the word karaoke too, but didn't understand sitcom. We wrote back and forth for a little while. Our boss wasn't showing up, and the conversation began to meander. Meander? I don't know how that word is supposed to be pronounced. Apparently Sakura was 21, 2 years older than me. To my surprise, she was attending university. Perhaps she only worked part-time at the real estate company. She said she was in her 3rd year. Apparently, there were many like her in her year. Working in a job that paid so well, it might have been a career. Her monthly salary was more than an employee in a big company in China earned in a year. Holy shit. That actually sounds insane. But I can understand that if, say, I'm here in Indonesia and then I move over to Tokyo, my wage would probably be, I don't know, maybe like 5 times at least as much as what I'm getting paid in Indonesia. Most likely. Even working the simplest jobs like, say, being a waiter or whatnot. Well, 5 times the minimum wage, not my wage. Like, if it was like 5 times my wage, that'd be insane. Of course, I saw after coming to Japan that it was also very expensive here. And in her case, she seemed to also have some wasteful habits, and consequently not a lot of savings. I looked at all the young girls walking past. The new school term had begun, and there were a lot more uniforms on the streets.
说起来，有件事我一直在想，
どうかした？
那对姐妹不去上学的吗？
Emmy obviously had to go to school, but Kana was still of high school age too. I'd heard that almost everyone finished high school in Japan.
私も両親からそこまで詳しく聞いてないけど、なんでもお金が必要なんだって。
Money? All she wrote in her notebook was money need.
他にも地元にはいられないから上京してきたみたいよ。
为什么？
そう、そこまでは知らないわ。ってもうこんな時間ね。私は仕事あるから、それじゃ。
あ、再见。
また今度飲みに行きましょう。
Sakura went back to work. I found her difficult to understand, but it was getting easier.
这么一想，我到现在还都不了解她。
I mean the sisters, of course. Especially Kana. Why had she even come to Tokyo to earn money? Japan was a rich country. What did she even need it for?
哟，久等了。
John finally showed up.
今天又有什么事儿啊？违法的我可干不了啊！
你真是一点都没变啊，毫无欲望。
嘿，你凭什么骂我呀？
说你傻你就傻。
He was in a bad mood. It made me a little uneasy.
哎，你是打算在东京干1年吧？
怎么了？在这里1年可以赚家里10年的钱。
Jesus, 10 years in China.
10年的钱就满足了？
啊？
I didn't get it. All I wanted was to get into a university. As long as I had enough money to study abroad, that was enough for me. Saving up for a year would be enough. I could still earn some money in whichever country I would go to.
其他人可是为了赚一辈子的钱来的。
不是你这么说也太夸张了。
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that, Jiang. I mean, Jing.
干普通的工作确实不行。
I also wouldn't be so sure about that, Jiang. You can technically make a lot of money if you make your own business, but I don't know, I guess it's not easy making your own business. I understand that, but that's the mindset that I've been put growing up in my household. Like, it's okay to work for some company, only to get experience, but after that, you should probably start up your own business.
好吧，果然又来这套。
This man tried to drag me into the underworld every single time we met. The money was probably really good, and I did need it. Not that badly.
你这傻瓜，太天真了。
不管你怎么说吧，反正我不会去做。
哎呀，难得一个能赚大钱的活啊！
多管闲事儿，你还是去找更需要钱的人去做吧。
I fell silent as I tried to finish the sentence. Hadn't Sakura told me about someone just minutes before?
江先生，那女孩好像很需要钱。
那女孩是说和你一起打工的女孩？
是啊，虽然她是日本人，但好像是为了赚钱才来东京的。
哦，原来如此。那我给她介绍个更好的工作吧。
I wouldn't really reference someone who, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can make money through his connections, but I personally wouldn't reference Kana to someone shady like Zhang.
不会又是那种低俗的工作吧？
当然了，年轻女孩想赚钱，这是最快的方法了。
Ah, damn you, Zhang.
哎，不如由你去劝她做吧。
那我？
那女孩要是辞职了，你不也能拿到更多工钱吗？
That was true. Working together was slashing my wage in half. If she went onto greener pastures, I could earn double what I did until then.
或者说，还是你辞？
这个，
哎呀，你们两个傻瓜呀！继续犯你们的傻吧。
And with that, Zhang left. So what was the reason we had to meet again? Or we had to meet again? Ah, this guy really likes to mess with you, Jing. I couldn't say anything and only watch him leave. The sun had got down completely. I was eating my bento and relaxing in my own room. I wasn't really doing anything, except staring at the desk.
马上就要到第一个发现日了。
My savings were remarkably close to zero. I didn't expect my first payday to result in a lot of money. I guess they're being paid in a month. They're not really being paid in in daily average or daily wage. I still needed to buy things I needed for my daily life. Eating bento from the store or the supermarket every day was inefficient. I wanted to start studying too. Considering the money I'd need, I probably wouldn't be able to enroll next year.
倒也不用那么着急。
If the girl didn't quit, then I still had a lot of time to study. I stared at my passbook. I looked up and saw her looking into my room.
喂，你看什么啊？
ごめん、覗くつもりなかったんだけど。
She said something and went back to her own room. I closed the door I'd left open and put the passbook back on my desk. She'd probably just been walking through the hallway and looked inside by accident, I thought. I just didn't like it when others saw my passbook.
得注意一下，在走廊能把这看得一清二楚。
Is she gonna be feeling sorry now for Jing because she looked at her or she looked at his earnings or the money he had left? I whispered as I left my room. We'd put the fridge into the hallway so both of us had easy access to it. With a bottle of tea in hand, I turned back towards my room. It stopped and looked at hers. Without meaning to, I looked inside the glass windows.
それじゃあエミ、今日は国語の勉強よ。はーい。昨日宿題で出してた漢字の書き取りちゃんとやった？あ、3回しかやってないや。ダメ。ちゃんと10回書くこと。
Hey, he can surprisingly learn it with Emmy if they're studying Japanese. They were doing some kind of studying. It looked like the older one was teaching her sister. Emmy wasn't going to school if I remembered right. Japan had compulsory education, but perhaps I'd been doing this instead.
めんどくさいかも。
She didn't say this is hard, she said this is a pain in the ass.
ほら、お姉ちゃんも一緒に書いてあげるから。それよりココア飲みたいかも。いいけど、ちゃんと漢字書いておくのよ。
ああ。
あ、 くりした。
She suddenly left her room. We looked at each other for a moment.
こんばんは。
She nodded politely. Our earlier meeting hung awkwardly in the air. Apparently, she didn't realize I'd been watching her.
你一直都在这么教他学习吗？
はい。
听说你很需要钱，就是为了这个吗？
その…
如果你很需要钱的话，
ごめん。何言ってるかわからないから。
She shook her head. She didn't get what I was saying as usual.
それじゃ。
She went back to her room. I also took the tea I'd taken from the fridge back with me. I keeled over onto my futon. I thought back on what I'd been about to say to her. If you need money,
后面我打算说什么呀？
were you going to actually make her take the job from Zhang? I personally wouldn't do that. You should quit here? There's a faster way to earn it? Or that I'd quit. That way you'll earn more money. I wasn't sure what I'd been about to say. Yeah, see, it's actually a lot longer than chapter 10 or 10 chapters. I'm I'm actually happy about that. Oh, wait, it's actually not a typo. 1988 spring. I guess the reason why it still said 1987 winter is because they're still in the winter season. Okay, I understand. I see, I thought it was a typo, but I guess not. Alright, I'll make you something nice for dinner tonight. Perhaps she just wasn't used to have others doing things for her. I wonder how long Emmy's gonna stay with us. Probably gonna be awkward again when she leaves. About 2 months passed. The winter had been long, but it was finally starting to get warmer. I'm still eating my ice cream, by the way. Don't worry, it's not Haagen-Dazs. I'm really counting my calories. It's homemade ice cream that I can eat and makes me full. It's really healthy. I stopped wearing my button-down clothes, and the cherry blossoms by the roadside were beginning to bloom in pink. Spring had arrived. Nothing in particular had happened. We just kept on working as usual. If I was pressed to mention anything that changed, it would be that we now had a reservation scheme for the bathroom. We also bought an electric rice cooker together. I was starting to understand a little bit of Japanese, and our gestures were more complex. Understanding each other was easier now.
Jin, hello.
Hello.
I didn't press anything and it kind of skipped itself. Each morning, we greeted each other on the platform. It was on the way to the bathroom, so this was the most likely location for us to meet.
今日は暖かいし、いい天気だね。
Emmy grinned. She was as upbeat as always. By the way, I kind of understood what she was saying. She'd been looking up at the sky, so I wagered she was talking about the weather.
今日はケーキとアイス買ってくれるんだよ。
Well, I had no idea what that meant. What I could understand was that she was happier than usual. We were getting paid that day, so maybe her sister was going to buy her something.
おはよう。
Her sister arrived soon after. I still wasn't using her name, Kana. Unlike with Emmy, there was still a distance between us.
今日はお給料日だし、出る順番どうする？
We were staring at the timesheet. She was pointing at herself and me in turn. Probably she wanted to decide who would go out first.
我先出门可以吗？
わかった。私は後で出るから。
showed her my index finger to symbolize the number 1. She showed me 2 fingers in response. I was going first, she was going second. I wanted to save as much as possible, so I limited the amount of time I was outside. Not reduce my pay. So I guess this game will actually take place throughout the whole season, right? Or throughout all 4 seasons. So I just finished winter, so I still have spring, summer, and fall. So this game is actually a lot longer than I thought it would be. At least I hope it is. There was something I'd wanted to buy for a while.
お姉ちゃん、今日はケーキ買ってくれるんだよね。うん、ショートケーキだけどね。やったー、ありがとうお姉ちゃん。
Amy was really happy for some reason. I still didn't know why. They seemed to be saving most of their money too. Payday was still something to look forward to.
おはよう桜井さん。今日はいい天気ね。あ、さくらさん。おはようございます。それじゃ忘れないうちにお給料を渡すわね。
She handed us a small envelope. It was our wage for the month.
金額合ってるか一応確認はしといてね。はい、大丈夫です。ありがとうございます。ジンもちゃんと確認しておいてよ。
I nodded and checked the contents. There were 10,000 yen bills there. 150,000 yen. Even after splitting it with her, it was a fair amount of money. In China, there have been no way of ever earning this much in a month.
じゃあお姉ちゃん、早く買い物に行こうよ。
I wouldn't say there's no way. There's always a way. It's just like what Jiang said. There might be some illegal way of doing it. Money laundering, corruption, all that stuff. There is a way, but it's whether you want to do it legitly or not.
ダメよ。今日は彼が先に外出するんだから。早くアイス食べたいのに。エミー、どうかしたの？あ、実は今日、この子の誕生日なんです。8歳になりました。あら、そうだったんだ。おめでとう。
Sakura then filled me in, using pen and paper. Apparently it was Emmy's birthday, and they wanted to go out and buy a lot of stuff.
ブーブー、早く早く。もう、ケーキも買ってあげるんだから少しくらい待ちなさい。だったらさ、ジンに連れて行ってもらえば？彼に？わーい、ジンと一緒にお出かけだね。
怎么了？怎么了？
They all seemed to be talking about me. Was this related to me going out?
桜井さんもたまにはいいでしょ？でも大丈夫よ。彼こう見えてもしっかりしてるわ。わかりました。よろしくお願いします。
She bowed a little and handed me a 1,000 yen bill.
やったー！アイス買ってね。じゃあジン、よろしくね。
She gave me a piece of paper that simply said, "Give ice cream." Apparently, Emmy was coming with me on my shopping trip. Seems easy enough to understand. The area in front of Harajuku Station was full of people. I hadn't been seeing many students around the station at the time, but there seemed to be a lot more lately. A new school year was going to begin in April, and right now they had spring holidays.
ねえ、ジンは何をお買い物するの？
不太明白你在说什么。
I had a lot of things I had to buy. So many things had proven troublesome in my daily life. And I was planning on sorting it all out that day. There we go.
总之，不能忘了买冰淇淋。
Based on a conversation earlier, she'd probably been promised ice cream for her birthday some time ago.
那稍微有点远，要不要买冰淇淋？
わーい、ジンと一緒にお出かけだね。
嗯，不太明白你在说什么。
I
我们慢慢走吧。
If you guys don't hear that, I was cracking my neck. We walked side by side and talked. I was going to a general store I'd gone to before. It was in a part of town called Yoyogi, about 20 minutes away. Harajuku itself didn't have a store that sold what I needed. Eventually, we arrived at the general store. It sold daily necessities, kitchenware, groceries. Considering how small it was, the selection was quite broad. Sorry.
へえ、こんなお店もあるんだね。
Amy wandered around the store inspecting the wares. I got the cookware I'd seen before. Ooh, that's a wok.
有点贵啊。不過也沒有其他的了。
あ、フライパンも買うんだ。
That's a wok, damn it. There was still a lot to buy. I'd been planning on doing this for a while. Eating bento was just not economical. It was cheaper than a restaurant, but each bento still ended up being around 400 yen. But if I had a gas stove and a rice cooker, I could cook for myself. Groceries weren't cheap by any means, but it was far cheaper than bentos.
そっか、うちで料理するんだね。
虽然拿回去有点重，但这样就可以自己做饭了。
I bought a small gas stove, a wok, and another rice cooker. I also bought rice and some other groceries. What should you need 2 rice cookers for? I mean, considering he lives alone, I doubt even a single rice cooker full of rice is going to be, 3 people, 3 meals. I think that's still more than what a single rice cooker can make, right? 3 portions for 3 meals? It was already becoming difficult to carry. Sorry if it sounds like I have something in my mouth. I'm eating my strawberries. Then I saw a stationery store offering a sale.
100日元3本，算便宜的吧？
I was looking at a stack of compact notebooks. I just had to buy them. They were pink and adorned with flowers, which I found a little embarrassing. But I wanted to start studying soon. I decided to buy a stack, even though I was already carrying a lot. With both hands full of items, I made my way back home. I butchered how I was supposed to say that sentence. I probably bought too much on the spur of the moment. Amy was walking next to me, gleefully eating the ice cream I'd bought for her.
美味しいね、これ。
I didn't understand her, but I knew she was in a good mood. She'd been looking forward to it during her exchange with her sister, too. It was only 100 yen worth of ice cream, and yet she was so happy about it. Wow, 100 yen ice cream? 2 scoops? That's so cheap. Are you sure about that? Japan? That's so cheap. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have ice cream on normal days. Maybe it was reserved for special days like her birthday.
冰激凌好吃吗？
もしかしてジンも欲しいの？
She held it out to me.
じゃあ一口だけあげるよ。はい、
What was going on? Was she thinking I wanted ice cream too?
不用了，不用了。
I shook my head. An adult wasn't supposed to crave a child's ice cream.
あ、もしかして荷物が重いってこと？私も持つ。
She tried to take a paper bag away from me. The bag contained largely rice and was quite heavy. Not being able to communicate was really quite inconvenient. Although I'd started to learn some Japanese, I was really just getting started and didn't really understand much.
说起来，
I remembered the notebooks I'd bought earlier. They were quite small, and very cheap at 100 yen for 3. I bought them for studying, but these were kind of nice. I didn't really want to be using pink paper adorned with flowers anyway. I gave her one of the notebooks instead.
这个给你。
え？何このノート？
我也稍微学了一点日语。
I pulled out a pen from my breast pocket. I began to write on the first page. It was very simple Japanese, but still Japanese. Kore ageru. There you go. This is for you. I used the character set called hiragana to write the word present. No, he said, I'm giving this to you. I wasn't sure how it was pronounced, but I did know a few words.
このノート、私にくれるの？
I was fairly sure she understood, but I couldn't understand her answer. I just gave her the pen instead. The meaning was, write it down.
あ、私にも書いてってことかな。
Seemingly understanding, Amy began to write something underneath my letters.
これでいいのかな？
It said thanks, nothing else. An expression of gratitude. I nodded and added another one. It said, Omedetou, okay. This time it was 5 letters.
祝你生日快乐，艾米。
もしかして誕生日だから。ああ、ありがとうジー。こんな可愛いノートくれて。私大切にするよ。
She'd understood me and seemed very happy. I communicated using writing with Sakura, but we'd been using written Chinese. This time I was using Japanese. I was very happy that I was able to communicate with a child like Emmy using writing alone.
誕生日プレゼントだね。
Amy cradled the notebook I had given her. She bobbed visibly as we walked. I was amazed that something so simple and cheap made her so happy. Well, you only get one birthday a year. I'm happy on my birthday too.
好，难得是你生日，晚饭我来做吧。
I said and wrote, I make dinner into the notebook. Gohan Sukuru, okay. I was hoping the sketchy tense could be overlooked.
ジンってお料理できるの？
不知道吧？我做饭可是专业的。
I ended up buying a lot of groceries. I'd been planning on cooking some rice for myself, but now I had to make something more elaborate. In the end, I was carrying so much that Emmy had to carry 2 paper bags as well. And some shortcake. It was her birthday and I knew how to cook after all.
ただいま。
我们回来啦。
I said, mark myself present on a timesheet and drop off my groceries.
おかえり。って何この荷物？あのね、今日はジンが晩ご飯作ってくれるんだって。彼が？そうだよ。ほら見て。ご飯作るって。これ彼が書いたの？このノートもジンにもらったの。
I wasn't sure what they were talking about. Probably just the things that had happened earlier. Kana gave me a puzzled look. I ignored it and began to sift through the things I bought.
それよりお姉ちゃんも出かけるんじゃなかったの？あ、そうだ。お給料貯金しに行かないと。じゃあちょっと行ってくる。いってらっしゃい。
She rushed out of the building. After that, I went into our tiny kitchen.
好，那开始准备吧。
I set up the gas stove. All it needed was a live gas line. I set the electric rice cooker down next to it. It was my first time using it, but apparently electric rice cookers were the norm in Japan. I'd also bought rice bowls and plates that I put onto the small shelves. The groceries I put into the fridge.
这样就差不多了吧？
なんか台所っぽくなったね。
好，那开始做饭啦。
Swinging to walk around in the tiny kitchen wasn't easy. I quit my job in fall of the previous year and hadn't cooked since then.
おっきなフライパン。
Emmy watched me excitedly. Perhaps these Chinese woks were rarely used in Japan.
へえ、そうやって料理するんだ。
I actually didn't go to a Chinatown while I was in Japan. I kinda wish I did. Would be interesting to see how the Chinese food is in Japan. I know the Chinatown in Singapore is really nice, and they were really cheap. I had no idea what she was talking about, but she was so focused on me and curious that it made me slightly embarrassed.
我说，别一直看着我呀。
すごいね、ジンって。本物のコックさんみたい。
这些谁都能做啦。
I began to toss the contents of the pan around. This was all pretty standard.
うわー、すごいすごい。
She continued to watch me enthusiastically as I cooked. I never liked being a cook. I'd hated my workplace. I hadn't wanted to be there. I hadn't liked my colleagues. I hadn't been trying to cook as fast as possible, or as well as possible. All I'd been thinking about was going home.
ジン、すごいね。
But now I felt good. I was hoping the food would turn out well. The sky was beginning to darken and night was falling. Ordinarily, we would be in our own rooms during this time, eating our bentos. But this time, we were in the waiting room. A room, that is, all three of us.
あー、これすっごく美味しいよ。ほらほら、お姉ちゃんも早く食べて。本当だ、すごく美味しい。
They seemed very happy with the food. I've been improvising a little bit, but if they liked it so much, it also pleased me. If I put in a little more effort preparing, I could have made something even nicer. Well, perhaps another day. There really weren't many affordable restaurants in the area. Only fancy Western-style restaurants and cafes. Maybe a restaurant would take off there, I thought.
そうだ、ケーキも食べないとね。うん。エミ、お誕生日おめでとう。ありがとう。で、お姉ちゃんも一緒に食べよう。
Amy shared some of her strawberry shortcake with her sister. She was 8 now, apparently.
艾米，生日快乐！
今なんて言ったの？
Ninquila.
果然听
No,
不懂
that's
啊。
actually Happy New Year. I think he said Shin'en. I said Shin'en that's like Happy New Year. I think it's Shin'en, I don't know. Damn you, my limited
これ使って。
Chinese. I wish I can actually speak Chinese. Damn you, old Azai or young Azai. Why did you not learn Chinese when you were younger? She handed me the notebook. I knew what she wanted me to do. I didn't know the Japanese word for birthday, so I had to make do with the words I knew.
8歳おめでとう。
生日快乐！
ありがとう。ほら、お姉ちゃんもジンにお礼言って。こんな美味しいご飯まで作ってくれたんだよ。そうね。どうも。
I wasn't sure what was going on, but unlike Emmy, she seemed to be conflicted. She'd always been in a poor mood in my presence. I watched her as she ate my food. She seemed restrained. Perhaps she just wasn't used to have others doing things for her. I mean, that might be true. Why had I not tried to finish that exchange? Looking at it in a different light, that meant Emmy had not been a good kid. And so she couldn't go to school. What? Okay. This is interesting. I'm very curious about what this chapter is about. Another month passed. So she's living with us for like 3 months. That's insane. Then again, she doesn't have school. But I don't know. Like, wouldn't her parents normally be worried? I guess they call each other almost every day. I don't know, maybe at least once a week. The wind was still chilly. but the sun was warm. The cherry blossoms had fallen already. I messed up that sentence. And the trees around the city were turning green. It was well and truly spring.
好，接下来是物理，再学一会儿吧。
I wouldn't be surprised at some point, like, Jing stopped considering going to college and just make his own restaurant in this story. I don't know though. We'll see where the story is gonna lead. I was spending a lot of time studying now. I'd already forgotten a lot during the previous year. The job I had was uniquely suited to studying. All I had to do was live there. I had more than enough time to study. In fact, there was little else to do. My studies were progressing much better than I expected. Having so much quiet and free time was the dream of any student.
不过有一点和预想的不太一样。
Well, maybe a good student, Jing. For me, it's all about video games back in the day. I looked at the clock. It was 3. Our days were fairly structured.
ジン、ハロ
艾米，你又来了。
ー。いつもお勉強ご苦労様です。
Emmy sometimes came to my room to pass time. She wasn't looking for anything in particular. I've been using an honorific with Emmy before, but lately I'd started admitting that.
你这样每天都过来，分散我注意力啊。
なんか今変なこと言ったでしょ。
唉，真是败给你了。
We obviously didn't understand each other's words, but as we spent so much time living together, we began to get a sense of what the other was thinking.
さーて、今日は何しようかな。
Emmy was lounging in my room as though it belonged to her. That said, as I studied, she mainly read her picture books and ate candy. She was just looking for company.
そうだ、以前の変な踊り見せてよ。
She wrote something in a notebook and showed it to me. Show me Michael, it said. What the fuck? Michael Jackson, I guess. Oh, give me a sec. Someone's outside. And I'm back. Sorry about that. My dad wanted to give me some snacks, which I respectfully declined, of course. I don't know how it is with people nowadays, but I myself feel that snacks, for the most part, well, unless I like the snacks myself, like I only look at food as calories for the most part now. Unless it's a snack that I really enjoy, like cookies or whatever, I probably usually would decline it. And the snack that he gave me was the not healthy kind. I don't know, like I feel like I enjoy eating what I'm eating, and if I wanted to have something that I would splurge on, it'd be something that I really like, you know? Like say, I wouldn't eat chips. No fucking way. I'd rather eat a burger than freaking chips. Since the calories are mostly the same. But alright, enough about that, sorry. I'm going on a tangent about my food habits or eating habits. She probably wanted to see me breakdancing.
不行不行，那可不是随便给别人看的。
I shook my head as I answered.
ダメなの？あれすごかったのに。
哎呀，不说这个了，我正在学习呢，安静点啊。
嘘。あ、しーだね。じゃあ私もお勉強しよっと。
She often spent time in my room. When she studied, she used the notebook I'd given her. Well, studying for her largely meant that she drew doodles and ate candy. And then, after such laborious exertion, she was oddly quiet.
睡着了呀？
Amy was sleeping on the floor. No wonder she was quiet.
喂，艾米，这么睡会感冒的。
マイケル。
哎呀，别 Michael 了，快起来！
I rocked her to wake her up. She was already fast asleep. Well, she was a little kid. I was used to it anyway. It wasn't the first time.
真拿你没办法。
I lifted up the sleeping Emmy. Then I carried her out of my room.
虽然才8岁，但只用胳膊抱还真是有点重啊。
You just need more muscles, Jing. Well, I can't really blame him. When I was 19, I wasn't really exactly a bundle of muscle myself. My arms were numb when I knocked on her door. I wasn't going to last long.
喂，我进来了，行吗？
ちょっと待って。ちょっと待ってって言ったのに。
I had no idea what she was saying. But when I entered, she stuffed away the laundry that had been hanging out to dry.
もう洗濯物干しっぱなしなのに。
Maybe she was embarrassed, but my arms were beginning to wear out. I gently sat down to sleeping Emmy.
好嘞。
エミ？
他又在我房里睡着了。
あ、アイス食べたい。もう、アイスじゃないでしょ、この子ったら。
She continued to sleep peacefully. My eyes began to drift around her room, whether I wanted to or not. I never really paid much attention to it, but now I realized how bare it was. There were no CDs, no game consoles, no fancy clothes.
那个难道是？
I saw pieces of pumpkin seeds laid out on a newspaper. She must have been drying them. Unusual. Even in China, not many people still ate things like that. Over here, we still eat sunflower seeds. Not as common as it used to be back like 15 years ago. But I remember eating sunflower seeds back in the day.
あんまりジロジロ見られると。
I think pumpkin seeds nowadays you only put on like trail mixes or granola. She must have realized I was looking at something, because she gave me an embarrassed look.
啊，抱歉，那我走了。
あ、ちょっと待って。
怎么了？
エミがいつも
She'd stopped me, but wasn't saying anything. Whatever she wanted to say, it seemed visibly difficult for her.
いえ、なんでもない。
She shook her head and I left her room.
还是一点都没变。
I was getting along quite well with Emmy, the younger one, but I wasn't getting much closer to the older one. She was introverted and shy, so maybe it was just going to take more time.
不过，可能我有点误会他了。
I'd been assuming all the young people in Japan were incredibly spoiled. The majority of them probably were. Some took their blessed environment for granted.
但是，他可能有点不太一样。
Apparently, they needed money. Neither of them were going to school. They weren't like the girls wearing fancy clothes around town. I'd only ever seen her wear her tracksuit. Seeing her dry pumpkin seeds fit into that picture too. It was night and very quiet outside. I stretched myself as I studied. Music was playing. Music.
已经这个时间了。
I looked at the clock. It was 2 in the morning. I hadn't been paying attention to the passage of time.
明天又该去找萨库拉桑了吧？
I was going to take the timesheet to her. It was necessary for the calculation of our wages, so we took turns taking it there. Actually, hadn't it been my turn before? And now hers? I tried to sleep anyway. and closed my study books. What's with the cat, damn you? Must be something going on with this cat. What's the plot point with the cat?
是那只猫，好久没来了。
I rushed outside. On the platform, I steadied my breathing and looked around. I realized I still had a study book and a notebook in my hands. Well, I don't know why it said well there. That's really interesting. The last time I'd heard the cat had been a month or so earlier. There it was again. It seemed to be coming from the rails. I stepped down from the platform as quietly as possible.
那个，
She was already there. She had probably come looking for the cat as well.
Shh.
I held a finger to my mouth to make sure she was quiet. Then I pointed towards the right side of the tracks and said,
那我去这边找找。
わかった。私はあっちを探してみる。
She whispered back and pointed at the left side. We were splitting up the search. Where? I heard the cat again, but didn't know from where. The cat couldn't have been far, but it was dark and I couldn't see much.
找不到啊。
What's that? That yellow stuff. I looked around for a while longer, but rather than finding its source... Was that fireflies? The meowing stopped entirely.
こっちはいなかった。
She shook her head. Apparently she hadn't found the cat either.
どうして私たちが探すときには猫いないのかな。エミはもう何回も見てるのに。
I wasn't sure what she was saying, but I made out the word Emmy. So she was most likely grumbling about Emmy having seen the cat, and it running from us.
可能是因为艾米是孩子吧。孩子。
孩子？
She gave me a puzzled look and repeated the word. The word kid was too different in Japanese. I could have given up at this point, but I had a notebook this time. I'd been using it for studying, and had run out of the door with it. I took a pen to one of the pages and showed it to her.
あ、これはエミ？こっちの人は何だろう。タバコ吸ってるから大人ってことかな。
She pondered my drawing. My Japanese was not enough to explain, so I tried drawing it.
艾米是小孩子。
ああ、エミは子供。孩子ってことなのね。
对对，因为艾米是个孩子。
うん、確かにそうかも。あの猫は子供が好きな猫なのかもね。
She muttered and nodded. I had made myself understood. Normally, cats did not like loud children. But given what had happened until now, maybe this one was different. The cat had run from both of us, even when we tried to be quiet. With that in mind, it was a slightly eccentric cat. Maybe some cats like children. I don't know.
それにしても、あなた絵がうまいわね。
I didn't even know that cats dislike children in the first place.
我的画怎么了吗？
すごく絵がうまいなって。
She was pointing at my drawing and saying something. She didn't seem to be bad-mouthing it.
啊，我从小手就很灵活。
I held out my hand and closed my index and ring fingers only.
わ、すごい詳しできてる。
嘿嘿，然後我还能在这个手势下
I
单独
don't,
把食
I
指
don't know
收回。
what the hell he's doing, but alright.
なんだろう、手が器用って言いたいのかな。
Whatever was going on, she was oddly impressed. We gave up on the cat and we went back to the old station. I looked at the clock, 4 a.m. The sun was going to rise before long.
それじゃあ、おやすみ。
啊，等一下，
どうかした？
之前就想问了，
Something I hadn't been able to ask before. I'd always stopped myself then. But now she seemed to be in a fairly mellow mood.
你很需要钱吗？
I took out some coins from my pocket and showed them to her.
お金がどうかしたの？
你没去上学，还吃南瓜籽儿。如果真的很需要钱的话，和那个江先生说，他应该可以给你介绍一个更好的工作。
ごめん、何言ってるかわからないよ。
Of course, she didn't understand me. I opened the notebook again. Maybe she would understand a drawing. If she quit this job, then John could give her one that paid a lot more. I'd also earn double, and I'd be able to focus on my entrance exam studies a lot more. I'd be able to buy nicer clothes than just that tracksuit. She could also buy Emmy ice cream every day.
"どうかした？
没什么，晚安。
I went back to my room. I couldn't sleep until dawn. Why had I not tried to finish that exchange? Emmy had said something about being able to go to school one day. If only she was a good kid.
咬一口是好孩子的意思。
I studied more Japanese after that. Being a good kid meant doing what your parents and others told you to do. Looking at it in a different light, that meant Emmy had not been a good kid. And so she couldn't go to school.
他明明是那么懂事的好孩子。
There must have been other reasons. A reason that meant neither of them was going to school when others their age were. Okay, so I actually thought that this was actually Kana that was saying it. It was like she didn't want to continue the exchange, but it looks like it's Jing. Which makes a lot more sense. I guess because I have preconceived notions about Kana, maybe not wanting to get to know Jing better. I thought that she would dismiss him even more, even though he was trying to communicate. But turns out it's not that. Are you a squirrel? Just go back to your village. They're Chinese. What the? Racist much? But it takes the Japanese longer to validate Korean passports. Reality. Interesting. I am going to end the episode right here, though.
よく寝た。
But yeah, I definitely expected Kana to be a lot more dismissive of Jing. I guess I'm discrediting her. Can you blame me, though, after what she's done throughout the whole 12 chapters or 11 chapters we've been with her? Hopefully she opens up. But alright, I think I'm going to call it an episode right here. I thought I was going to finish it, but turns out I was wrong. And if this visual novel went for another 5 episodes, I'd actually like it. I like it. I like this visual novel. I like this story. I think this is episode 5. Maybe it's going to end at episode 10. We'll see. I guess it's going to be 10 hours-ish. With my reading speed, like, I'm not going to lie. If I was actually reading this just by myself, I probably would have finished this already. I read super fast, the thing is. But when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to LPing a visual novel on YouTube, I have to talk during the scenes and give my perspective, and also I have to talk when they aren't voicing the monologues. But all right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back next time. Probably after I'm done with the trip with my bro and sis, which is going to be, what, Monday? Right now it's Thursday. I'm going to go tomorrow. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Peace out.